All right, folks, let's talk a bit about these three buckets of marketing analytics. The reason why we want to bucket our digital marketing analytics is that we need to know the relationships between all of the different metrics we track and what's most broken. There's a lot of data we have. If you were to take all of the different just social media analytics, you'd probably have 90 some odd dimensions. If you were to then expand it to email, to direct, to website, to SEO, you could have hundreds of different dimensions. And as a result, the ability to analyze that is almost zero. So in order to understand what to fix, we need to build these relationships between our metrics, and we need to put them into buckets so that we can see how they move together, and we can understand how these different buckets work in parallel to achieve our goals. So if we don't have that understanding, what tends to happen is we tend to fix the wrong things. So real simple example, if you were looking at your Twitter analytics from beginning to end, from reach numbers all the way down to goal completions, you might incorrectly choose engagements or retweets as the metric to fix, even though that may or may not have an impact on the actual outcome you want, which is probably goal completions. Now, a couple prerequisites. We need to have a good foundation of analytics. So that means you need to have the data that you're gathering up. You need to have a way to put it all in one place and analyze it. You need to have goals and goal completions in Google Analytics so that you can test and understand that someone's done something of value. So all those things are important. So how do we simplify? The easiest way to simplify all of your digital analytics is to put them into one of three buckets: awareness, engagement, or action. Awareness metrics are exactly what they sound like: attention, audience numbers. So that's where things like social media reach and followers and stuff, email list subscribers, anything that says here's the audience I am able to address, goes in the awareness bucket. The second bucket is engagement. What did this audience do? So these are metrics like could be time on page, or numbers of amount of pages visited on the website. It could be email clicks, click-through rates. It could be social media likes and comments and shares and retweets and all that stuff. That goes in the engagement bucket. The third bucket is the action bucket. What business impacting action occurred? Did somebody fill out a form? If we're a brick and mortar business, did they go to the directions page on our website to figure out how to get to us? Did they fill out some kind of download? Did they buy something? If we're an e-commerce business, did they actually swipe the credit card and buy something? If they didn't do any of those things, then they didn't take an action that's meaningful. So those are our three buckets. You would put all of your numbers into those categories. It wouldn't necessarily combine them mathematically, but you want to categorize your metrics in one of those three buckets. And then, how do you apply this? Well, if you have all of this information together, let's pull an example using Twitter. So I'm going to pull up my data here. What I've done is tagged the different categories of metrics as whether it's an action, whether it's an engagement, or whether it's an awareness metric, and built a correlation matrix. This is using the free open source software R. And what we're looking at is, I want to see what are the relationships between these different metrics. And you can see the action metrics are at the top. And then you see the engagement. There's some engagement and some awareness metrics throughout. Look at the first two rows. Notice that in terms of goal completions, which is the second row, there's not a whole lot there, right? So that means that that all these other metrics, all these other analytics are fine, but they don't have a relationship to the goal completions, to the thing I care about the most, which is somebody did something of value. There are plenty of relationships between the impressions and likes and all these things. So I know that from a measurement perspective, I don't have a problem in the awareness bucket per se. I don't have a problem in the engagement bucket per se. I do have a problem between all these other things and the actions people are taking. So people are not taking enough action. So now I have a path forward. Now I have an understanding of what to do. I need to work on turning the awareness and engagements and the attention I've created with in this case Twitter, and meaningful action. So that may mean asking people to do stuff more often, asking people to do stuff that goes to a digital property. Because even on our lovely chart here, when you look at it, there's not a huge relationship between any of my audience metrics and even website visitors. So I'm not even driving people to the website. There's no relationship whatsoever. And so that means that I'm not either asking enough, or people aren't paying attention enough. And it's not that, and we know it's not an awareness problem solely. Like, we're reaching people because the awareness and the engagement metrics, all those those blue circles, are terrific. It means that there's a lot of interaction between these types of awareness and engagement. So we're getting to people, but they're just not doing the things that I want them to do. So now I have my strategy for it. I keep doing what I'm doing to generate awareness. I keep doing what I'm doing to generate engagement, but now I need to ask more and maybe use some retargeting ads or something to pull from engagement into action, into the thing that's going to matter most. So do the same thing with your content. Do the same thing with your analytics. Do the same thing with all your digital marketing metrics. What are the relationships between the different variables? Categorize them by bucket, and then look at the interrelationships between them to figure out, okay, what has a mathematical relationship between the goal that you want and everything else. If there's nothing, like in this case, then look at the relationships that we know lead to or should lead to the goal completion, and start fixing from the bottom up. So in this case, I know I need to fix up my engagement to also get people back to the website. I hope this was helpful. Please, there's a text blog post and a little chart that goes with this, so feel free to grab that from the blog post. Stay subscribed to the YouTube channel and to the email newsletter. And let me know what questions you have about this particular thing, about building out these 3 buckets of digital marketing analytics, because it's an important exercise. If you don't do it, you're going to be flying blind. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.